In this episode, it is Mighty Car Mods and Roadkill. Welcome to another episode, and it's the one that you guys have been asking for. We are going to be working with one of the biggest and craziest car shows in the world right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Roadkill.
Yay! Finally, we're all together.
Finally.
And we get to work with the other biggest car show in the world, Mighty Car Mods.
So who are Roadkill? Well, they're a couple of guys just like us who like having ridiculous automotive adventures, buying weird cars and breaking stuff along the way. So we thought, here's an idea, why don't we meet up and see what happens?
So what is the plan? We are in America. We've come a very, very long way. We're here to experience the roadkill culture and shenanigans. What's the plan?
Well, plan is a new thing for us, but we're thinking basically 3 days. We build you a car as American as we can. You build us a car as Mighty Car Mods as you can. We get back together and have some skids, right?
So basically both cars will break, both cars will skid, and fun will be had along the way.
And someone will go to jail.
All right, 3 days. Good luck, boys.
All right.
We'll meet you back
Have fun.
here
Good
in
luck.
3 days. Have fun. See you, fellas.
The challenge has been set, and now we buy a car.
So it's very early in the morning here in America and probably around 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in Australia. So jet lagged, it's not funny. But the good thing is we don't have to go and buy a car immediately because Marty has already bought one off Craigslist before we left. Now, being in America, it means we've got a chance to do some Mustang action, some... Wow. Okay.
Yeah, dude!
Wow. All right.
Yes!
I thought we were doing some American muscle.
Dude, how good is it? This,
That's just a Subaru.
not just a Subaru.
Oh, okay, good. It's fully built.
This
Worked.
This is a stock, well, the owner said it was stock, 02 WRX Bug-Eye.
That's right, we have finally got ourselves a WRX. These cars put Subaru on the map, dominating the world rally scene when first released in the early 90s. They've created a cult following because of their agility, turbo engines and all-wheel drive system that makes them good at just about everything, except maybe burnouts. We've been getting WRXs in Australia since they were first released, but this WRX was one of the first ones that America ever got their hands on. Up till that point, they'd only had non-turbo Imprezas, not mad. Ours is a 2002 WRX hatch. It's got an EJ205 2-litre boxer turbocharged engine with a weak 5-speed manual and of course it's left-hand drive. It also has a TD04 turbo with top mount intercooler and runs just under 14 pounds of boost from the factory.
We've never done a Bug-Eye before. We've never done a WRX before, ever. It's going to be a day of firsts.
Well, it looks terrible. It's missing paint. Someone looks like they've cut these guards with nail clippers.
It's pretty much stock.
None of the wheels match at all.
Stock pretty much except for the...
They chrome Forester wheels.
They're just hubcaps.
Really?
Yeah.
No. Oh wow, that's interesting.
But it's got like fancy wheel nuts. I mean, he said it was stock except
Oh, it's got fancy wheel nuts. Oh, that's all right
stock
then.
except for the fancy wheel nuts and the cutout body. But these
Wow.
things hold their value, man. Especially in America, these things hold their value.
It doesn't hold its value when
So,
it looks like this, man.
there
No
was
one else
somewhat-
would have bought this except for you.
Somewhat
A
limited.
jet-lagged Aussie who seems to think that this was the right car to buy to do an American challenge in America.
It's left-hand drive.
Has
which
this got
makes
that
it American.
stupid Subaru double tap security
I don't know.
thing?
But
That door doesn't even work. Oh, there we go.
It's left-hand drive, so that makes it American.
Oh, wow.
The gear stiff's on your right hand, which is really weird, but that also makes it American. It's a practical wagon. Americans like being practical, going for hikes and putting all their hiking gear in the back of it, so we could potentially do that, which would be pretty
I
rad.
don't want to do that.
But you know what it is going to be?
No.
Fast.
Is it?
It's going to be fast, man. It's already good. Like, it goes good. Really good.
Do you reckon we
turbos.
can drive it?
Yeah, let's take a round the
Can
block.
I drive it?
Of course you can.
Are you going to come too?
Yep.
Now, I've got to keep you to the gutter,
passenger to curb.
you to the curb.
Passenger to
the
curb.
sidewalk.
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
Mirrors don't work.
wow, okay, the gears. All right. Oh, wow, this is
And reverse is where it's normally is, but you're not pulling it towards you anymore. Like if I change gears for you, that's normal. Bap, 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 bap.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. All right, Subaru, let's do it.
It goes all right.
It goes good.
The steering's a bit, how you going?
What steering? Oh wow, it's like trying to kill us, trying to pull us into there.
I think that's called like tram lining or something. And it's an all-wheel drive, like 2002 2-litre WRX. I believe it's got a TDO4 on it, I think, which is like a small turbo, but that's good for mid-range, so it should be punchy.
I guess the thing is, if we're doing a battle with guys who do American muscle cars, there's no use us coming here to their home ground and giving them the advantage and us trying to work on cars that they're going to be able to do way better than us. Like, we may as well do our thing and bring what we've got going for us, which is really crap cars that don't work, that are made in Japan.
There's also, the idea was to get a cheap car, and these cars in Australia are cheap now.
Yeah.
They're still cheap here. They hold more value than I expected, I have to be honest, but they're still relatively cheap. It's rough, but mechanically it's great. Like, for all the ones I tried to find, like, this was the one that mechanically worked the best, even though the sound it's making now is not ideal.
The good news, Martin, is that our check engine light is not on, it's flashing. So I'm assuming that's, like, it's not just constant, it's flashing, which is good.
And I'm gonna hope that smell is brakes and not clutch, but it could be both, or it could be clutch. Who knows?
With the test drive complete, now it is game time.
So dude, let me show you what we're gonna do.
No, I can't wait to see the vision.
The idea is we're trying to make a car that's fast, because these cars can be fast if you do it right. Oh, look, yes, WRX, got a bumper on there. There it goes. So on the back, we've got those Forester wheels, which are pretty ugly.
They just have to go
They need to go. The ones on the front are a bit cooler. Some copies of something, I don't know exactly what, but they can probably stay.
And it looks like there's coilovers already, so we can give it some lows.
Pretty much. It's got a bonnet scoop, which we might delete, potentially.
Okay.
And do something clever with the turbo, don't know what. The guy said they've got a couple of old front mounts lying around.
Yep.
So can we stick a front mount on, which also has the side effect of making it go faster.
And are we doing stickers or some awesome like things to make it go fast here, Martin?
Yeah, I reckon we'll get some stickers on there. Exhaust, I don't know what we're going to do with the exhaust yet, but most importantly, the wheels need to go. It's already got some kind of blacked out headlights, which is kind of cool, and some foggies in it, which is mad. So we'll probably wire up that so that stuff all works. And then, essentially, as long as it's fast and it launches and it gives these guys an experience that they haven't had before, I think we're going to be on to a winner.
Now this all sounds good, but I've got a slightly different idea on what we should do with this WRX.
If I may?
Yeah.
I don't need the texter.
Yep, we're going to convert this Subaru into a ute, a staple of Australian car culture. The Australian ute, or utility vehicle, was born in 1932 when a farmer from rural Victoria wrote to Ford asking for a car that he could drive around on the weekend and then carry his pigs to market on Monday. And 2 years later, Ford delivered and released its first Australian ute. High-performance utes are hugely popular in Australia, particularly in rural parts of the country where owners gather for enormous B&S balls, which is like a drunken country disco but with utes. And we're going to bring a little taste of that to the Roadkill boys here in the USA. Our first step is to remove anything that's no longer needed, particularly everything that's behind the front seats, because this car is about to get chopped.
We're taping up the windows to try and avoid dropping broken glass into the car, because for the next 48 hours, we're basically going to be living in the back of this Subaru. With everything removed, now it's time for this WRX to get chopped.
So we have a bit of a problem with the reciprosaw here, which doesn't have the guard that comes out the end. Now, normally there's something that sticks out the end there, so you can put that against what you're cutting through. But at the moment, this here is punching dents in the top of the car. So Martin has come up with an idea, just using a hockey puck here. We're going to drill a hole through the middle, gaff tape that over the front, and then that will become our guide for cutting through the top of our Mad Rexy.
We are now officially modified with a hockey puck. Now let's give it a crack on the car. Just like that, our wagon has transformed into a ute. Well, kind of.
So here we have our Subaru Ute, and I wouldn't be upset if you wanted to call it a Subaru.
That's good.
See?
That's good.
Thanks, man.
It's all well and good to have a ute that looks mad, but we also want this thing to be really, really fun to drive, and that means making it fast, because fast and all drive, heaps of grip, turbo is just awesome.
Martin, how do you make a Subaru fast?
You got to get more fuel into it. You got to up the boost. So we're going to have to smash some kind of injectors in it. We're going to have to do something with the ECU to make it do. But we're on the other side of the world.
That's right, and not only are we on the other side of the world, we're jet lagged as we got no like mad contacts here or anything, and we've only got a couple of hours to finish this car. So the time has come to call in some reinforcements from down under.
This is our mate Woody and our mate Miles from Queensland, Australia. And this is our mate Ian. He loves cars and he loves beer. And of course we've brought along Mechanical Stig, our resident Subaru expert and all-round automotive guru. Now these guys, whether they like it or not, are going to help us get this car finished by tomorrow.
There's quite a lot to get done on our mad Subaru, and luckily we've got a couple of dudes here to give us a hand.
That's right. Now there may be some familiar faces that you've seen in Mighty Mods episodes in the past, and maybe a couple of new faces. But the guys were heading to SEMA and we said, can you do a little detour and come and help us? And they said, no. And then we said there was beer here, and they said yes, here they are. Amazing. So we've kind of assigned everybody some jobs. We've got until tomorrow night to finish the car.
We have exactly a day and a half to
and we're only allowed to use this space for another few more hours today. So we've pretty much got a couple of hours and then one day to have this car ready to battle some mad track somewhere.
Ready to be thrashed.
Yeah, ready to be thrashed. So let's get to it. So when you're buying a car completely sight unseen off the internet, it's one thing to kind of organise all the mods you want to do, but it's another thing to actually make sure it stays running. So we got to go through, we got to do oil, we got to do filters. I mean, air filter actually looks pretty good. Wet. On that side.
Feel it?
Oh,
wow.
wow.
My God. So there's bird in there.
There's a bird inside it.
I think that's gotten so full of rubbish that the car is literally tied to suck it through the turbo. That's how much.
Actually looks pretty clean from there, doesn't it? And then,
God,
look
check
at
your
that.
filter, people. Check your filter. That's incredible. But that's going in the bin. Let's put something better on. I want to do some cool stuff with this turbo. This can go away. It's going to be awesome.
Just get rid of lots of stuff, can't we?
We're going to simplify it, get rid of it, and slap it on an ECU that will just run it.
Awesome.
Miles and I are starting at the front of the car while the rest of the crew begin working on the rear. We're removing any stock parts that won't be reused, as well as changing some service items because, as per usual, we don't have any kind of service history. The top mount intercooler is going straight in the bin, while the paint around the rear doors is stripped so we can weld them shut forever. We're going to have to get a whole heap of strength back into the car after removing half the roof. Welding the doors is the first step in stopping the entire thing flexing, or worse, snapping in half.
So we're changing the spark plugs on here, not because there's necessarily anything wrong with them, but just because it's prudent to do, and because we've only known this car for a number of minutes, and it is it's the right thing to do. Oops, I'll go and find that and see if there's anything wrong with it.
Also, if we're going to be winding more boost into it, we want ones that are...
They look fine. Look at that.
Which is both good and bad. Although they're those...
Got a weird little point on it.
There's those iridium ones, which are more expensive and potentially last longer. But we're probably just going to go with copper tip ones, I'd say. Yeah, because we can gap them down easy. Which means if we need to run a smaller spark gap, we can.
Cool.
Much more boost. You know what else this has, dude? Which is interesting? Bleed valve. The factory boost control's not working, so someone's put a bleed valve on it. Remember how it was breaking down when we were getting a hit before?
Yeah.
So potentially it's running too much boost and hitting boost cut because that's not set up properly.
Yeah, right.
Or it was breaking down because those spark plugs are unhappy. Or there could be 55 other reasons why. But we're gonna because we don't have much time, if we jam a new fuel pump and injectors in this, that takes that whole thing out of the equation.
Yeah, exactly.
Get rid of the bleed valve and use a factory one as long as the ECU can control it. If it can't control it, we can try and use this, but actually measure it properly.
Martin, I can see turbo pipes coming off over there.
Turbo's coming off.
Turbo's coming off.
Turbo's not staying off.
We don't have a turbo.
Yeah, this turbo is going to be...
That's the only turbo we have.
This turbo is going to be recontextualized.
Recontextualized?
Yeah.
We're doing a turbo to NA conversion, everyone.
No, we're not. Don't worry, that will never happen. No, it's being recontextualized.
We'll find out, will we?
I'm not going to rule it. Just in case it doesn't work, I'm not going to say what I'm doing yet, but I'm going to try my hardest.
You will keep us in suspense.
I will.
While Marty works on his suspenseful turbo setup, I'm going to investigate the fuel pump and filter. Our hope is that we can run this car on ethanol, which means there's going to be a lot more flow, which means we'll need an upgraded fuel pump.
So rumour has it that it is possible to get ethanol around these parts of the world, the old corn juice. And so because of that, of course, there's going to be more flow. So I'm changing the fuel pump. What's in there now, again, there doesn't really seem to be anything wrong with it. So far, it looks like we've lucked out with this car, but we are replacing it with an upgraded fuel pump because there's going to be a lot more flowing through it, Martin, and...
We've got some injectors, which are 750cc Ditchworks injectors, so they've kindly sent us a set of these from the same country, which is cool. Normally they've got to travel a long way, but this time they didn't. So these will drop...
These are Mighty Car Mod's chopped 750cc's.
Awesome, so these will drop straight into our factory rail. So between that pump, which is a... I don't even know what that number means. Oh, it'll say on here somewhere how much it flows.
An upgraded
pump. DW200 in-tank fuel pump. And this, the factory fuel pressure regulator, will do the job for our purposes. Because I think factory, these things are about 130, 140 at the wheels.
Less, I think,
Maybe
even.
less. If we can get another 50 kilowatts on top of that with some ethanol on the fuel pump,
that'd be awesome.
Some boost in it.
So step 1, get all the supporting stuff ready. Step 2, find somewhere that sells corn juice.
E85 is 85% ethanol and 15% gasoline, and it's the race fuel that's used in Australian V8 supercars. But it's becoming increasingly popular on the street due to reduced emissions compared to pump gas and also incredible power gains. This is due in part to its octane rating, which is around 105, which means you can wind in more power and boost without detonation. It also has incredible cooling properties, which in turn can absorb a lot of heat from the intake, which means a colder, denser charge. The tricky part is not installing the upgraded fuel pump and injectors, it's finding somewhere in LA that sells it.
So the fuel pump is in. How are you going, Martin?
Good, man. We're about to slap some injectors in. We've got the whole front bar off. We've got the front Rio off. Make some room for some front mount action.
So efficient.
Yeah.
How's your jet lag?
It feels like 3 a.m.
I think it is.
It's like every time I look outside, I'm like, why is there sunshine? It doesn't make any sense.
Hear that American train?
Sounds like every movie.
I've never heard that in real life, but I've heard that in movies so often when I'm a kid. You know, when your WRX drives along, it gets stuck on the train tracks and doesn't start because you've done stupid mods to it, and then that thing just takes it out.
Yeah, and then like someone rolls up next to you and says, you never had your car.
Yeah.
And you owe me a 10-second car, and
then we go, you never even had your train.
Nobody likes the tuner here.
I live my life one railroad at a time. Man, I hope the guys from Roadkill like this car.
Me too. Because we're not even going to be driving it much. Like,
no.
We might drive it to our test circuit, but I don't know if we're going to be driving it on the test circuit.
Well, this car is a gift to them to show them what Mighty Mods is all about.
It's great. I hope it's fun. It should be.
It should be fun. And what are they building us?
No idea.
What do you think? Do you reckon they're going to try and do a Japanese thing?
I was wondering if it was going to be like doubling down, and what do you call it, reverse psychology, where you're like, oh, they think we're going to do an American car, so we're actually going to do something Japanese or something European, or who knows?
When we met with them last time, though, I asked for America.
Yeah,
Do you
okay.
remember? I said, please give us America, and Freiburger's like, oh, it'll be America.
Oh, good.
But maybe he was just trying to
I'm
trick
excited.
us.
You know why? Because we've never had a car or been able to like thrash a car that was purely set up to do massive skids. So if it is something that's got a lot of power and it's rear-wheel drive and a big auto or
man.
something,
gonna be so
I'm excited
good.
about that.
That's unreal.
I'm excited about driving this because I think this thing's going to be a bit of a weapon. Might
Cool,
actually
man.
be fast.
I hope it's fast. My next job after this is to start measuring this up so I can build our ute tray so we can carry goats around in it.
Great. Got a fuel pump. Don't forget to plug it in, 'cause otherwise, once it's got a tray on it, it's never coming out again.
I'll plug it in.
Because we've cut up part of the vital structure of this WRX, we need to get some rigidity back into it to stop it falling apart. We've found this roll bar which is not made for this car, but we're going to see if we can modify it and make it fit. Not only will it provide some safety in a rollover, but we can use it to hold together various leftover components of the car's body. The challenge will be making a Honda Civic roll bar fit in a Subaru.
And I wonder if then we can lean that forward, try and make that match up with that, and then extend these.
Come on, injector. Here it is. So there is our stock injector. And here is our 750cc injector, which is going to make this car fast.
The battle for structural integrity rages on as we weld up the rear doors and trim down the roof so the roll bar can sit flush against it. Even though we're cutting out so much of the car, hopefully this will be enough to hold it all together. Meanwhile, up front, our turbo intercooling system is about to get upgraded.
Okay, so our next step is to get a front mount intercooler on the car. Now we've actually got a choice of 4 here from 9K Racing that are all second hand, so it's just a matter of seeing which one sounds the best. That was pretty good. That sounds like arse. That one sounds like arse. So it's going to be this one.
WRXs usually have their intercoolers up on top of the engine and use that iconic bonnet scoop to get air through them. We're going with a front mount intercooler to increase the cooling capacity because it looks mad and it's a popular upgrade for Subaru owners everywhere. Next we have to make brackets to attach it to the front of the car. We don't have a piping kit, so we'll be making it all ourselves using whatever scrap we can find around the workshop.
Outside, Benny is salvaging a small piece of the metal from the roof that we cut off earlier. He's cutting out an oval shape, which we'll use to fill the hole where the door handles used to be, and this is going to give us that awesome shaved look that we're going to need for our ute. Meanwhile, the factory ECU has got a one-way ticket to the garbage bin. With the door handle holes filled, now we can focus on welding shut the rear doors. By welding them closed, we'll not only get a cleaner line in the panel, but we'll also get some rigidity back because currently the car looks like it's going to literally fall in half every time we jack it up.
We've managed to find some scraps of both stainless steel and aluminium tube from various old front mount setups. With some encouragement from a hammer and the odd silicon joiner, our front mount system looks like it just might work.
It might look good. I'm never sure about wings on utes, but I think on this it might look good because the back of the car curves back in.
Yeah.
So it needs something on there.
There's a lot of unknowns going on here, but you know
So
what?
many
Before it
unknowns.
actually goes in the bin, we'll keep it. So the front mount is all pieced together.
Yep.
I put in your fuel pump, you've done injectors, we've done plugs. Now we're like welding up the doors.
Oh, it's just plastic things on, man. It's just plastic things holding on. I think we just have to commit.
Just commit.
I think so.
1, 2, 3.
Well done.
Awesome.
Amazing.
There's pizza. Yes,
Awesome.
that pizza's for us. Yeah,
Nice time.
absolutely, man. Come on through. We're so hungry for that pizza right now.
In case you were ever wondering, a Subaru spoiler on a WRX ute looks terrible.
I'm cool, Matty. That's in.
After fueling up on some of America's finest cuisine, we're back to sorting out the roll bar and the front mount piping.
So this roll cage is actually made for a Honda, not for a Subaru Ute, and therefore the angles of where the roll cage bolts in are not right, and it's also not sitting at the right height either. So what we're going to do is we're going to chop this, and then Miles is going to re-sleeve it so we actually have some options of how high or low it can sit, because we want this to sit at the same height as the roof of our new Ute, which is going to be freaking amazing. And maybe someone at Subaru will see these and end up making them available for everyone.
Cut this off,
Yeah.
dress it up, clean it, and we'll weld the sleeve that's going to go in there. We're going to weld straight to the plate.
Yep.
And then just slide it in, leave enough
Yeah,
there
cool.
so we can put it in the car and then mark where it's got to be and then take it
Yeah,
back
no
out.
worries. Okay, man.
Our roll bar is made from thick wall steel pipe, which makes it easy to cut and shut. US power tools run on lower voltage than back home, but our little gas MIG welder hasn't let us down and is sticking everything together. Next we can continue working on the front end, squeezing the headlights and front bar back onto the car. However, both will require some love from a Stanley knife.
Next up, we're removing the exhaust because we're not going to use one at all. And the one that's already on there is dodgy as. With the full exhaust removed, we can now extract the turbocharger, which means it's time to celebrate with some slow motion watermelon.
Since the beginning of time, turbochargers have been relegated to basically the car's sewer system, attached to its butthole and getting filled up with its exhaust. But now it is time to remove it from the depths of the engine bay and exalt its very existence.
We're going to raise it up. We're going to stick it out of the bonnet. I love turbo cars. We love turbo cars. It's safe to say that.
So why not show everybody it's a turbocharged car by having the turbocharged high mounted? Look at it.
So cool. So we're going to run it up pipe using some of this big steel bar that we got.
Basically, it's going to look like that.
Extend it up
like
pipe,
that.
braces.
Extend the pipe up there. Flap on the top. Bingo's your monkey.
Done.
While Marty gets started on the turbo pipe, it's time for me to lower our ute.
So we're lucky that this car already had some Tane Super Streets in it. And you may be wondering, why am I adjusting them with a welding glove on? Well, the reasons being is that the previous owner has hacked the hell out of these guards, and already somebody has managed to undo this and fling up and cut their arm open like that. So I'm dropping the height with a welding glove on. We've now been awake for, what, 36 hours, Marty? Or
So
longer,
many.
is it? All up?
I can't even tell. I'm just a consistent level of tiredness now.
I'm off my chops,
I don't
mate.
know what time it is. I'm having fun, I gotta say. This is a lot of fun, messing with this vehicle with my mates.
Man, Subarus are good.
They are great.
With the jet lag in full swing, we're trying to get as much done today as we can before we fall asleep on the floor and do it all again tomorrow.
This extended up pipe is gonna be mad. We have to figure out how to get oil in and out of the turbo and figure out how to avoid it swallowing low-flying ducks.
It actually fits really nicely in there, then we can brace it.
That is as low as it will go.
As the sun goes down over LA, we're pushing through the jet lag to get the final few jobs done before the end of the day. And luckily the symphony of grinding, cutting and welding helps keep us awake.
So it is day 2 working on our Subaru project, and not just day 2, our final day.
Our final day. We got a lot still to do on this beast of a car, but it's coming together and I'm starting to get extremely excited in various regions of my body.
I'm also getting very excited. Now, considering we only started this car yesterday afternoon, it has been a very quick build, but we're hoping that we're going to get something that is unique, fast, and of course, very mighty car mods for the guys at Roadkill. What do you think they're going to think of this, Martin?
I've got no idea. I mean, firstly, we call it a ute, which is immediately unique anyway.
Yeah.
It's a car that was never meant to be a ute, which I think is pretty cool. And it's starting to look mad too. When we first chopped the roof off, I'm like, oh man, I don't know what's going to happen.
I loved it
But I
as
love
soon
it.
as the roof came off.
Yeah, but
it was awesome.
With its roll bar and its turbo thing coming together and a big dirty front mount, it's great. It makes me excited, and I think that's what it's all about.
Absolutely, and there is lots of welding to do so that the car doesn't fall in half.
Yeah.
Because what's amazing about a car, it is like an egg. It is actually quite strong, but when you remove certain panels, then everything just goes floppy. You know, literally those rear panels there, as soon as you cut the roof off, they're just flapping around like a piece of old chicken.
I think the back of the car drooped by like 4 or 5 millimeters as soon
Yeah,
as that
at one
roof
point,
structure,
yeah,
because that roof is holding your car together.
At one point, we kind of had to put a jack under the back of it and the car was literally splitting in half. So there's been a lot of welding going on. But today, there is so much to do and with such little time. So let's cue the rad music and kick into another day of Subaru.
Our first job of the day is to change the oil. We have no idea when it was last done, and luckily it's really easy. Unless your filter is stuck, and then some multi-grips will get the job done quick. Make sure the rubber seal comes out as well as the filter housing, otherwise you're going to end up with a mess when you put the new filter on. We've finalised our turbo mounting position and it's looking awesome. We now have to get oil in and out of the bearings to keep it lubricated, and then figure out where it will dump the exhaust gas.
We're hoping to give this car a bit more presence, and we've managed to get our hands on these flares to cover up the hacked panels, but they don't look as aggressive as we'd hoped, so we'll have to try something else later if we have time. Meanwhile, the boys are cutting up some square tube, which we're going to use to line the top of the U-tray, once we get the roll bar to fit.
Fits so well.
Our Honda roll bar has been successfully modified to fit our Subaru. So with that done, now we can move on to measuring up the rear section to build the frame for our ute tray. I'm using square tube to lay out a framework that will attach to the roll bar and the body of the car to give it some much needed rigidity.
So progress has been made at the front of the car. We've got our intercooler pipe happening, which is pretty awesome. I've also got a blow-off valve because it needs to make a whole bunch of noise. But I think it's time to see what's happening at the back of the car also.
It's going well over here, Martin. There's no use actually calling it a ute unless it has a functioning tray. So I basically got some square tube here.
Yep.
And am building up some reinforcement because
Awesome.
we've lost some rigidity because of the
Half the car being
because of
gone.
this now being in the bin. We're basically going to weld some of this to the back of the roll cage, and then I'm making pieces of the right length to go between the strut towers as well, so I can weld it all up.
So it'll have a fully functional tray.
It'll have a fully functioning tray.
Mad.
And then, I mean, if we're in Australia, you go park this under the stars and you take your animals out in it, or your missus,
or both.
Or both. And then you can actually use it. So hopefully the Roadkill guys actually find a use for this ute.
I reckon you could fit 2 6-foot dudes side by side in there if you had to.
If you're into that. I mean, 2 ladies would be good too.
Sure.
But whatever you're into. What have you been doing, mate?
Blow off valves, man.
Mad.
It's time to. It's actually time to see if we can get the car running.
Speaking
fairly
of which,
soon.
Martin,
Should be good.
we have
Oh yes.
our Haltech all the way from Australia. Where's Stinton? Oh, Stinton, are you ready? Don't drop it or our car will break. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
Yes.
you dropped it.
It's time. It's time.
Do I get to open this?
Yeah.
Mint.
Make it run, man. Because I don't think it's going to run on a factory ECU with a turbo completely out the bonnet.
I already
front
put the
mount,
factory
big
ECU in the
injectors.
bin.
Oh, did you?
Yes. Yesterday.
Oh,
so it
good.
doesn't exist. We need to find E85 too.
That'll just plug straight in.
Wow. Awesome.
Epic.
Platinum Pro plug-in. That'll work.
E85. We
Yes.
can't forget.
Yep. I
Need
got
to find
Jerry's.
some local homies that can tell us where we can get E85.
I've got Jerry's. 2 Jerry's in a tank full will probably get us about 100 Ks.
Yeah. What's that? 70 miles?
Something
60
like that.
miles?
60 something miles, yeah.
Awesome.
The roll bar is going in and I'm sorting out how we're going to get air in and out of the turbo, as well as fitting our 90-degree vertical dump pipe.
The frame is all measured up and cut to size, so while I'm welding that together, Marty is carefully removing the bonnet scoop so we can try and make the turbo fit. Oh yes, that is looking amazing.
All right, so that is it. The new bed for our ute is welded in. Well, the framework for it at least anyway. And
Yeah, man.
that's in there, that's strong.
That is so cool.
But the tricky bit now is just cutting out our plate to actually sit on top of it and get it around the shape here. But we do have that old rubber boot lining that's sat in here.
Yeah.
So we can put that on top and trace around that and then hopefully just cut another piece to put that in there.
So cool. A fully functional tray.
A fully functional ute. You'll be able to put echidnas on it, koalas,
The kangaroo, once he gets a bit tired from riding him.
dingoes.
Yep.
The works burger, mate.
The intercooler is getting attached and the front bar is going back on. We have done a huge amount in just 24 hours with the help of our mates from down under. And if we continue at this rate, we may actually get the car finished on time after all. Next job, we've got to sort out the wheels.
So when we bought this Bug-Eye Rexy, it actually had these weird Forester wheels on the back of it with these chromy hubcaps. Now, we managed to get 2 more wheels with the same, but unfortunately this one here doesn't look very safe. It looks like someone smashed into a gutter really hard. And the problem with that, well, A, it's not safe, and B, it's not holding air. So we have managed to get...
Wheels have arrived.
All we know
it's
is
a-
that they're bronze, so we should just be able to take the rear 2 off.
And importantly, the size is exactly the same because Subaru doesn't like having mixed matched sizes.
Oh. Okay.
Hey, look.
It's the same wheel.
Sort of. It's like, it's the same idea. It's like when someone sort of whispers an idea along a line of people and you end up with a couple of different drawings of what it actually is. That is so munted. Same size. Same offset and width apparently too.
We have 2 of those, yeah?
Yeah, we're a pair. So we're either going mismatched or we're just going to paint them all.
Yeah. All right, cool. Now we've got to find somewhere in America who can put tyres on.
These wheels are way too big for the car. The hacked up guards are a testament to that, but we're going to find a way to make the car functional while still looking mad. We're also going to be painting the car, so we're scuffing it with some sandpaper to get it prepped for a quality rattle can job.
We've got a surprise visitor. This Mighty Car Mods fan has made us a custom vinyl sticker for the windscreen of our Subaru. With the panels prepped, we're sealing up the roof and the roll bar in case of bad weather and firing up the Haltech ECU and loading on the base map.
We are at a super exciting part of the build where it is time to turn the key. The Haltech is in. Miles has plugged the laptop in. I think I can hear fuel pumps. It's time to start it up and see A, if it works, and B, what it sounds like. Let's hit it, Marty.
You ready? Here we go.
It's gonna be loud.
Man.
Awesome.
Well, the car starts, and our mate Dale has come all the way from Castle Hill in Australia to help us with a road tune on E85. Plus, he's brought us a special present, a tractor flap to go on the world's smallest exhaust pipe.
It's time now to bog up the door handles and panel gap. It won't be perfect, but we do not have time on our side. We're draining out all the old fuel so we can fill up with E85. The problem is, where do you get it in California? So we jump on Google and then jump in the van and we're on the hunt for ethanol.
We found the mystical unicorn juice, and we're going to need to carry a few jerrys with us to keep us going. Lucky we've got a practical ute. We've also swapped our tyres onto the new wheels, so our next mission is trying to work out how to use these American-style nozzles. After failing at that, we're back to the good old jerry can and funnel technique. We've now got 4 matching wheels with the same dimensions, sizes and offset. So with all of them going on, the next thing to do is drop the car down and get it running on ethanol. After a 2-lap road tune, our WRX is now successfully running on E85, which means we can go for our first test drive.
We started this yesterday at lunchtime. Yeah, and now it's a ute.
It's a ute, a running ute with a turbo at the bonnet. Oh, a low running ute.
Oh, it feels good, doesn't it? Holy sh**.
It pulls good, like
It feels really good.
It feels fast.
It feels aggressive.
So that's, yeah, about 15, 16 pound, which is probably about as much as you'd want to risk running on that tiny turbo, because anything above that's just going to be wasted.
Remember yesterday when we tried to launch this and it just didn't launch?
Yeah.
Like at all?
Yep.
Be interested to see how it goes now, just with a bit.
You can hear the wastegate open, like, because there's like no exhaust on it. That's great. I got soot in my eye, it was all blowing through the windows.
Yeah, everything from back there, I could feel it going forward and then back into our faces.
Incredible. Well, dude, I would call that a successful test run.
A success indeed. The rear hatch is now getting welded on permanently, and then we can focus on finishing off the square tube that surrounds the tray. And that brings us to the end of our last full day. Tomorrow morning we'll have just 90 minutes to finish the car before meeting up with Roadkill.
It is our last stint working on the car. We have about 90 minutes left and we have like 20 different jobs that we have to do.
Oh my God. Yeah, just a few. We've decided we're going to paint the body, we're going to keep with the blue, because the blue is awesome.
It looks good. Yesterday we kind of rubbed it all back and we're going to go full like military grey. But we like the blue and it looks good.
It is
so
Subaru
we've got
blue.
some more blue. Is that like Subaru blue something over here in this box?
Got some colour match
So
spray
here-
cans.
And these special weird things that stick a thing in the thing.
That's right. So it's a 2-pack clear because it's got like an activated catalyst whatever in there, and you punch a thing in it and it makes it go all professional-like.
In America, everything's the same but different. Even the jerry cans have a little doodle that hangs off the side and nothing comes out until the doodle gets fiddled in the hole.
Which makes it really hard to get the doodle in the hole and then actually make it do anything.
Yes, that's right. But anyway, we're wasting time now and we have very limited time, so let's get to it. Oh, and the weather said it's going to rain and storm. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Now that we've decided to keep the car blue, we're spraying it on with cans. There's no time for detailed bodywork or show car finishes. We've got to get this car painted, sealed and out the door as soon as possible.
It's also time to paint our wheels. We're doing a super speedy cleanup and then spraying on the camo brown paint that was originally intended for the body of the car. We're getting this done as quickly as possible, and pro tip, a skateboard makes this really easy.
Back inside, the boys have cut up some checker plate sheeting to lay over the tube frame. I'm also drilling drain holes in the floor pan in case the car gets filled with rain on our way to meet up with Roadkill. And just in time, we've got our hands on some fatter, more aggressive flares from a Nissan 240Z to hide the previous owner's hacked up fenders. And with that done, we can now weld in the ute tray.
The threat of wet weather and storms has meant that we're going to try and seal up the cabin. We're making a template out of this cardboard and then we'll transfer this to Perspex and attach it to the back of the roll bar.
We've managed to find some bolt-on spaces so that our wheels don't rub through the shocks and the guards.
And we're recycling these rubber door seals to cover any sharp parts of the tray. With the paint dry, our wheels are ready to go on.
So we actually only had 2 of these wheels because of the other 2 that we had. One of them was busted up. So we bought 2 more that were white, which are
These
ones, which we painted. And as you can see, like the color match is not perfect, but very close.
It's worth saying we bought the paint before we bought the wheels.
Well,
we
that's
had no
what
idea.
colour the car was meant to be before we decided to keep it blue. So what we're going to do to trick everybody's eyeballs is we're actually going to leave these 2 bronze ones we have on one side, and these ones that we did in this camo brown, put them on the other side, and that way your eyeball will never be able to see the difference at the same time.
Impossible.
And we are almost out of time.
This is it. We've got just 15 minutes left to finish the car, and then we've got to leave to go and meet up with Roadkill and see what they built. The final touches are going on. We're clear coating the tray, adding the Mighty Car Mod sticker to the windscreen, and installing our small Perspex window, which was meant to be much bigger, except I accidentally broke it, so this one is made out of whatever scrap Perspex we had left. And finally, a flagpole, so our chopped fingers can fly free in the winds of victory. And that's it, we are out of time.
So it's only been 2 days of work and we have successfully created a Subaru.
A 2-day build and a 2-door WRX ute that runs on ethanol. We don't know what the Roadkill guys are going to think, but we absolutely love it. We've gone from this to this. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Mighty Car Mod's Subaru.
Far out, man. I'm loving what you've done up the front here.
Yep.
Like
And this
flapper.
This tray looks like something they could have and should have actually made. I'd own one.
I would own one as well. I would own one. It's awesome. And now we've got a little bit of like weather protection back here. It still looks like it's going to be relatively nice in there for whoever ends up behind the wheel. So what's the plan now, man?
The plan is we're going to go and meet up with the guys. We've got to see what they've come up with. They're going to see this. They have not seen anything yet, and no big enough, not even a hint.
And we don't know what they've got.
No, and I'm slightly frightened.
Wow. So as the Roadkill and Mighty Car Mod's adventure continues, it's actually time for us to get in the car and go. You can drive, man. And well done.
Thank you.
What a rad car.
Awesome. Still so luxurious.
I'll open the garage door.
Put a
that ute. Awesome ute, man. Well done. Very happy with our Marty Mods ute.
I just love watching the turbo at the bonnet. It's a visual feast.
It is.
Halfway up the street, I think. It's on the left, so it's going to be maybe this next driveway, I think. Not the next driveway, the one after. I think.
Oh, that's way cool.
Not bad!
Hey!
Wow.
You guys went all out!
We stuck a big turbo out the bonnet.
We stuck a big
amazing.
blower out
Yes!
the nut bonnet.
It's got a big blower. Oh my god, is that for us?
Dude.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Man.
You guys went all out. We thought you were
So did
going
you.
to half-ass this.
Man, we made you guys a ute.
I see that.
We brought a little bit of Australia all the way to you.
This is
Wow.
pretty good.
And you guys get air conditioning, but it doesn't look like we do.
The windows roll down.
Ripped off.
Yeah. Was this a WRX?
It was,
It
yeah.
is still kind of.
Is it all-wheel drive?
It is.
Yeah?
And now it is a Subaru, which is a Subaru and ute.
And it runs on ethanol.
Yeah, it runs on
good.
E85, it's been road tuned.
You can't buy
Caltank.
E85 anywhere near here.
We can, you got a couple of Jerry's there, man.
Good, because you can't buy it anywhere
Well, you
near
guys
here.
are too nice. They even gave us extra gas.
It should be
Yeah,
fun.
man.
Yeah,
We're
because
looking out for
between
you.
here and Chula Vista, there's really no place to buy that stuff.
I
Okay.
see something big hanging out the bonnet
That
of
is
this too.
approved.
It might be fake. It might not even turn. It might be Mad Max on
That's
a
cool.
Switch.
What have you guys got
We
going
saw
on
that
over here?
movie where you guys flip the switch on and off and you get blower on and off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, this hasn't moved under its own power yet.
You said
Oh, I
you
love
wanted
this.
the quintessential
I
giant
think I said America, right?
car.
See,
Yeah,
here's the
That's
thing.
right.
Yeah.
All you guys think of American cars as horrible handling, horrible brakes,
Big, ugly, slow.
totally overpowered,
Yes.
right?
Looks nice.
Here you go. You got neighborhood of 700, 650 horsepower.
Oh my God.
And you've got
Okay.
bone stock 69 Impala everywhere else.
Wow, I love this.
Yeah.
And we don't know if it does burnouts yet or not.
Oh, yes, we do.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's just intuitive.
Because ours doesn't do burnouts, it just breaks gearboxes.
Right. We can do that.
But it should grip
This will
nice.
do that too. No, this
be
has a
fun.
one-legger in the back. You'll be able to spin tires for blocks and blocks and blocks.
Tire.
Unless you want to get out a good welder, because we can weld up the rear end right now.
It's been 2 days.
We have time for that.
That's great. Like, I'm impressed with everyone, man.
Yeah.
That's been a 2-day build, man.
I'm really impressed.
You did
I
all
did
that
not
in
think you
2
were going to
days.
go that far for us. That's great.
I can't wait till you guys drive it and see what you think.
Yeah? Us
I like
too.
the theme of stuff hanging out of the bonnet. I just love that.
You knew it was going to happen.
I like how many lights you have. Do yours work? Because ours don't.
No, of
No,
course
we
not.
don't have lights.
2 days.
Yeah. Oh man, you guys left nothing on the table. This makes me really happy.
Well, it's our gift.
I really
it's our
thought-
gift to you.
I really thought you were showing up in a really horrible red Miata.
I know you posted
Oh,
that,
no.
totally threw us off the scent.
Would never have done that to you.
Yeah?
Unless it had that in it.
Right.
I thought for sure he and I were going to be rubbing elbows while we drove, and it would have just been weird.
No, man, it's quiet. You got aircon. There's a good stereo, comfy seats. You got airbags. Like, you guys are legit. I want you guys to take it for a
I'm
drive.
genuinely impressed.
I am too.
Really,
I'm
I thought,
completely stoked.
oh no,
See,
not
the
a red
whole time
Miata.
we've been looking at your Instagram going, these guys, they're getting us a Miata and they're probably going to go like, what's that Japanese, like Bazoku or what's
Yeah,
the...
Bozazuku, like
down
no
that.
springs, big
Yeah.
V
We
exhaust.
figured that's where you were going to go, but this is legit.
So here it is. This is our Subaru. We got it finished just in time, but that is only half the story. That's right, the adventure is far from over. Now that the cars are finished, it's time to send them into battle.
And you can go and check out the rest of the story over on Roadkill.
That video is live right now. Now, if you are a Roadkill fan that is checking out Mighty Car Mods for the very first time, welcome. This is our channel. You can hit subscribe down below to keep up with what we're doing. And if you're a Mighty Car Mods fan, go and check out the Roadkill stuff and hit subscribe there. There are plans of doing a similar battle again, but this time in our home ground in Australia, and that is planned for some time in the future.
A big thank you to our mates who cut their holiday short. We literally hijacked their holiday and said, come and give us a hand. Thank you for lending your expertise and your support and your skills on the tools to help us make it happen. And a big thank you to 9K for lending us their shed.
And thank you to the Mighty Car Mods fans and the Roadkill fans who dominated the internet and made this happen. This was because of you. You got on our page, you got on Roadkill's page, and you went, MCM plus RK, make it happen, make it happen. It has been 1.5 years in the making, and you guys made it happen. So thank you for watching, and a massive shout out to Finnegan and Freiberger. Thank you so much for having us over to your country, and we'll look forward to welcoming you guys to Australia sometime in the future.